Hello everyone, I am Sara Schwartz and I'm a second-year graduate student at the Penn State Landscape Architecture Department. This spring, I was part of the Pittsburgh Community Engagement Studio in Hazelwood. My project, Grow with Hazelwood, is a restorative park that was designed to address the environmental and wellness concerns caused by the industrial and economic wave that came and went through Hazelwood. The goals for the project were developed after a site analysis and engagement with residents. The three goals are to give the residents a place to gather, give the earth and people an opportunity to heal through restorative landscapes, and to create a multi-generational play spaces. In the far left map, we see Hazelwood is located along the Monongahela River, southeast of Pittsburgh's downtown core. Below the tracks is a community in the southwest area of Hazelwood, as seen in the middle map, and my project site is an open grass field with overgrown sports courts between Blair Street, Melanchthon Street, and the railroad switchyard, as seen in the far right in orange. To ensure we were addressing the actual needs, goals, challenges, and aspirations of the community, we participated in several engagement activities. The first was a stakeholder meeting with community partners. The second was a design charrette brainstorm session at the Center of Life, where residents visualized neighborhood enhancements. And the third was multiple walking tours with below the tracks residents and community partners, where we heard stories of Hazelwood past as well as opportunities for change. When walking around, it was clear to see the toll the overwhelming industrial history has on the neighborhood both physically and economically. The map on the left shows industry in pink. Functional industrialization is seen in images B and C with the salt pile and the recycling plant, as well as relics as seen in image A at the abandoned smelter. The map on the right shows amenities below the tracks as well, such as gardens in image A, the mural in image B, and the park on Lytle Street in image C. The three goals of the site, to gather, heal, and play, were materialized on site as the park began to take shape. Areas in blue are meant for gathering, areas in green are meant for healing, and areas in yellow are meant for play, though the areas aren't restricted to only functioning in one singular way. Here we see the entire layout of the site. From the left to right, we have buffer plants that separate neighboring properties from the therapy garden. The playground and community gathering area are in the top center, with raised boardwalk separating it from the restorative meadow. To the right of the entrance platform at the end of the boardwalk is the multifunctional grass field. Then, below the field is a basketball court. The raised boardwalk in the middle connects the raised platform entrance to the healing space in the therapy garden. Bioretention lines the street at the top of the site. There are four major systems on site that help explain how the park functions as a whole. The circulation is curvilinear, which offers different views for those walking through and provides a more whimsical, free-form park feel than rigid and straight lines would. There are 5 major access points on site. The primary entrances are by the therapy garden, the entrance platform, and on Blair Street. The secondary entrances are right at the front of the site to the left on Melanchthon Street, and the other is near the grass field and connects to the rail trail on Jason's site. The vegetation is varied and vast on the site. The perimeter is filled with trees, and the therapy garden is a combination of trees and shrubs. The grass field in the top right has the shortest grass, and the meadow in the middle at the bottom has the mid-height grasses. Those areas without trees offer a more open and visible park environment. The drainage and hydrology and grading in the bottom map are some of the most important elements on the site. The original slope of the site is less than 1% and goes from Melanchthon Street to the river at the west of the site. The low points on the site start with the bioretention along the roadside. The wet meadow is also a low point, where most of the site's water flows to. The 2 retention ponds in the therapy garden are there to capture water from the boardwalk to the plaza and in the garden. The main healing space on site for human wellness is the therapy garden. It is spaces therapy and includes vital elements of a restorative landscape. There are seating options to take in the sights, sounds, and views. There are 3 outdoor rooms that define the space and contain well-defined parameters, emphasizing the feeling of being away and creating a sense of intimacy with nature. The rooms are the main room, the plaza area, and the labyrinth below. The materials used have more of a natural feel, as wood and stone, which offer a more calming experience as opposed to metals or plastics. Another element of a restorative landscape is serenity, which is why the labyrinth is there, for contemplative walks. The last feature is the plant palette, which was selected to ensure birds, butterflies, and others gather and give the space a sense of wildness, escapism, and fill it with calming sounds of nature. This view of the therapy garden shows the main room. The foliage around the stage and benches creates a sense of enclosure. The paving pattern transitions from the room to the plaza and then to the labyrinth. The stage offers an intimate setting for community groups to put on musical performances or art exhibits. This view of the labyrinth shows a ground-level perspective of the space. A labyrinth is a meandering path with a spiritual and religious history that enriches mindful experiences. The walls and trees around give it a sense of privacy, with an option to sit on the benches if one would rather think in place. The last room in the therapy space is the tree plaza. Whereas the other two spaces are more secluded, the plaza is a walk-through space and is meant for interaction at the tables and benches that are set under the tree canopy. At the top of the site along the road is a bioretention feature. The long bioswales capture runoff from the road and filter it through a planting bed. There are raised drains to capture water that overflows in a storm event. The two upper zones contain plants that need less water and are more drought resistant, and the lower zone plants are those that can handle sitting water for a longer period of time. All plants were chosen based on recommendations of the Philadelphia Water Department Green Infrastructure Stormwater Guidebook. This meadow scene shows the Mesic Meadow on the left and the wet meadow with cool season grasses to the right of the path. The Mesic Meadow is at grade with the boardwalk, then slopes down, directing water to the wet meadow, whereas the wet meadow is about 4 feet deep and goes under the boardwalk. The meadow represents the restorative elements for the land on site. Phytoremediating grasses are part of the planting palette and will be a higher percentage of the seed mix. The lights along the path allow for walks through the park when the sun begins to go down. This cross-section goes from the west side of the site on the left, where the switchyard is, across to the east side to the road. Here we can see the depth of the wet meadow and how it goes under the boardwalk and spans to the community pavilion space. The entrance platform on the right is very defined from this view. The platform is multifunctional as it can be used as a stage, and it is also a defining feature of the park. The meadow grows under the boardwalk to the side of the community pavilion and gathering space. One of the main notes we got from the community is that there are a limited number of outdoor spaces to gather or have events. This pavilion, with seating, grills, and a playground for kids to use, offers an opportunity for residents to interact outdoors. Here we see recreation opportunities for older kids and adults with a basketball court on the left and fields on the right. This site used to be a baseball field, readily used by the community where they had memories of growing up. These spaces will hopefully allow residents to create new memories of having fun with their neighbors. The last perspective is of the field being used for a different purpose, and that is for a movie night. Because the park is one of the biggest open green spaces below the tracks, it's important that the different parts of it can serve more than one purpose, since it's taking up so much outdoor area in a very urban and hardscaped community. Project phasing includes a recommended plan for site construction over the next 1 to potentially 15 years. The long period of time is taken into consideration because of the need to acquire funding and potential land value changes and other projects that will require attention and funding in the community. Phase 1, seen on the left, will establish the perimeter planting, basketball court, bioretention area at the top, and grass fields everywhere else. Creating the perimeter and play spaces will start to define the space while giving people a chance to play and potentially gather in the fields. Phase 2 will add in the gathering pavilion and playground as well as the meadow. The meadow installation and management is a great opportunity for green entrepreneurship and potential employment for residents as a way to ensure community members are given a chance to be a part of the process of construction and maintaining natural elements of the site. Phase 3 will see all areas of the site finalized. The therapy garden will be fully functioning and cohesive and connecting to the other spaces. Before they are built, the Phase 2 and 3 projects will be planted with the same grass mix used on the multifunctional field. In conclusion, engaging with the people of Hazelwood allowed me to better address their needs and goals to create a park that reflects their interests in gathering, healing from a long industrial history, and playing with their neighbors and families. The now underused Blair Field, with no formal use to residents below the tracks, is a huge green space opportunity in a very urban landscape. Growing together in Hazelwood means as Hazelwood grows and meets the needs of impending change, the natural elements on site and the residents can grow alongside of it in a cohesive and inclusive way with something that was built just for them. Last, I would like to thank the residents of Hazelwood for lending us their time and sharing their experiences and ideas. Thank you to our community partners, and thank you to our professors, Ken and Tim, for all their help.